What is going on, you guys? AK40 Kevin here in the Gamer Heaven. Today we're going to be unboxing, setting up, and reviewing the Maono studio headphones. These sport 50mm drivers as well as some other pretty interesting features and coming at a price point of $43 US. Now at that price point, headphones are very hit and miss, and these aren't perfect, but they do support a lot of really nice features. Let's get right into it. Alrighty guys, over here at the unboxing station to break into the Maono, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, studio headphones. Studio doesn't necessarily dictate high quality. Generally, over-the-ear headphones, companies refer to them as studio headphones. So this comes in 3 colors, only 2 of which were available on Amazon. This black color, and then also, this is showing kind of a light graphite gray or silver, but it was actually kind of a dark gray that looked almost the same as the black here. It was almost indistinguishable, and it's also showing a red. Maybe that's available on the manufacturer's website, but it is not available currently on Amazon. So these have 50mm drivers. Hopefully they sound pretty good. And this has a 6.35 and a 3.5mm headphone jack, so depending if you're trying to use this for music production applications, such as plugging into an amplifier or something like that, you can do that, or a typical 3.5 for just your average everyday gaming. So some of the tech specs real quick before you break into the box. These are closed back dynamic headphones, so if you are looking for an open back design, these probably won't work for you. They have a frequency range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, an impedance of 32 ohms, a sensitivity of 116 decibels plus 3 decibels at 1 megawatt, a maximum input power of 100 megawatts, and 50mm drivers like I mentioned earlier. It is a 3-meter cable, which equates to 9.8 feet, and does have the 2 size headphone jacks as mentioned before. These retail for $43 for the black and $45 for the gray on Amazon, so if they perform well, this is quite a budget banger of a headset. So you have your actual headphones in there, you have your cable, and then you have a thank you card and an instruction manual. So of course you got your typical sales card here, thanking you for shopping with the company and telling you if you have any issues to contact support. You have your instruction manual right here, which opens up like a little pamphlet. So it says user manual, but it's not really much of a user manual. It doesn't really give you any information on, I don't know, cleaning the ear cups or anything like that. It's literally just a warning not to wear them while you're driving because you can't hear your environment and you'll crash into stuff. Do not disassemble the headphones. Doing so will void their guarantee. I don't know how good their warranty is with this company. I have minimal experience, but they are only $42. And I do have a real addiction to customizing things, so we might be hydro dipping these eventually on the channel. But you have your cable right here. Let's go ahead and close this before we hurt ourselves, boys. This has the 6.35 adapter on it, but we are just going to use these as 3.5mm, so they unscrew, they are threaded, and we are just going to use these for, you know, PC stuff, gaming, video editing, and whatnot. Maybe watching some multimedia. So really high quality cable. It does coil up and then it does expand out to a maximum of 9.8 feet, which is pretty darn long. That's what she said. There's a pro and a con to these kind of cables. The pros is that it, obviously for storage and whatnot, it gets compact, but sometimes if you're not like super close to the device that you're plugging into, this one doesn't seem too bad at all. But some of them, if they're coiled really stiffly or really tightly, it can produce a little bit of a pulling sensation on the headphones, but this one doesn't seem to have that issue, so that's good. All right, so the actual Maono headphones themselves. Wow. 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 Okay, yep. These actually feel pretty premium, guys. I'm going to bring you in just a little bit closer. So I was actually a little bit caught off guard and a little bit awestruck. These feel a lot more premium, especially for the price point. They don't really feel like $45 headphones. You know, I've tested a lot of Sony, Bose, Audio-Technica, etc., which are in excess of $200-300. So these are spring-loaded or tensioned to where, you know, they will snap back into place. They also fold for storage, which is really nice. The ear cups feel insanely soft and comfortable. Like these feel amazing. Haven't got them on my head yet, but just from the touch, they feel really good. They are labeled R and L for right and left. Overall, they just feel really They just feel really solid, to be honest. Like all the plastics don't really feel cheap and flimsy. They have kind of a rubberized coating on them. They just feel pretty good to the touch. The only thing I will say is the headband here could definitely use some more padding. It is a little bit stiff, and also, you guys hear that? I think the headband is the weak link here. If they just put a little bit more padding in there, it feels very, very firm to the touch. But a lot of times headphones feel firm when you're squeezing them like that, but then when you just have them sitting on your head, gently resting there, they don't really feel bad. So hopefully that's not an issue. But I kind of wish they had like a little strip of padding similar to what they have on the ear cups here. That does feel really, really good. So pulling out the ear cup arms here, they do have a lot of adjustability. They have several steps in there, which are also labeled 1 through 7, so that's nice. So you can kind of remember, in case you close these up and fold them, you can be like, well, you know, for me, it's the most comfortable at a 3 on this side and a 4 on that side, because I got a lopsided head or whatever. So right off the bat, these feel pretty darn good. The ear cups feel really good. Like I said, that headband, okay, if you get it settled right on the crown of your skull there, it's really not uncomfortable or anything. This material on the top of the headband feels really good too. It's very velvety, very smooth. They also do cut out a lot of noise for not being active sound canceling, i.e., you know, battery powered, i.e., electronically powered sound isolation or noise canceling. They're just obviously cutting out ambient noise because they're large ear cups that cover your ears and seal up. It actually does reduce a lot of noise though. Like I can't hear the fans from my PC right now. Yeah, they feel pretty good. Initial impression was. All right, let's get these bad boys plugged in and hear what they sound like. I'm actually kind of excited. Okay, interesting. So you have a slot for a 3.5 millimeter on the right, or if you are going to be running that adapter, that is going to plug in on the left. So keep that in mind. If you're running the larger adapter, you're going to plug it in the left. If you're running a 3.5, it is going to be on your right. Alrighty guys, over here at the Stormtrooper desktop, I'm going to go ahead and roll my buns on over here. We're going to plug these into the side of my Razer Black Widow keyboard, which has a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack pass-through, which is perfect, so I don't really need to go too far from these or anything like that. I kind of wish that you could plug the headphone port into both the left or the right, but like I said, if you're using the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, you're going to be on the right here. It's not a terribly huge deal, but again, it's going to be crossed over my chest like that. There is a pass-through section right here, but since the cable is coiled or braided, I can't really pass that underneath there, so I'm just going to have it kind of like that. There we go. So let's put on a little music real quick, boys. YouTube. Turn that light off. Wrong one. There we go. Dubstep. Something with a little bit of bass to it. So voice sounds pretty clear listening to that ad. Not that I like listening to ads, but... It's very accurate. The mids are pretty dynamic. There's no muddiness or hollowness to the mids, which is very, very common with cheap headphones. So he's actually, as far as sheer sound quality, just like how accurate and rich the sounds, how accurate and rich everything sounds is pretty darn good. I will say that everything sounded as it should. You know, I listened to songs that I've already heard and listened to out of speakers and headphones in the past, so I had something to kind of compare it to, and they sound really, really good. Now, they don't get very loud. I had them maxed out at 100, and as you saw, I was messing around with my sound settings, checking my YouTube volume. Everything was at 100, and they weren't like stupid loud or anything like that. Probably because these are passively powered, so they're just powered directly off of whatever you plug into. They're not preamplified from like an onboard preamp or anything like that, so they're not going to get scorching loud or anything like that, which for gaming isn't a big deal, but maybe if you're just trying to blare out some music or a movie or something like that, it's not super loud. It could be a touch louder. And also, the bass isn't anything too crazy. I was listening to some dubstep at 100%, and it never got distorted or anything like that. At 100%, there was literally virtually zero distortion, which is great. But the bass wasn't like shaking your skull or anything like that, which you kind of expect from, you know, studio labeled 50 millimeter drivers. to have just a little bit more punch in the low end, in the low end frequencies, but they didn't sound bad by any means, and it's not like they have virtually no bass, like they're just completely flat in the lower end, but they didn't really have that thick bass that I kind of expected these to have. But again, they are passive, they're not actively powered by an onboard amplifier or anything like that, so I guess that's to be expected. Let's do a little gaming. I want to know about the stereo spread, the situational awareness when you're playing something like a first-person shooter. Can you distinctly hear footsteps off to your left and right? As a lot of people that purchase these as a lot of people that pick these up might use them for gaming. That guy was an idiot. How did he lose that? He ran up directly behind me. Somebody's directly above me. I don't know if it was a teammate or an enemy, but somebody's up here. Somebody's on the left wing of the aircraft. Okay, it was a friendly. Situational awareness is pretty good out of these so far. I'm camping hard right now. I should probably move, though. I feel like somebody's going to run up on me. Jesus, people just spamming grenades? Everyone decide to throw a grenade at once? Is that what's going on here? I can throw one of those, too. Alright, so these actually sound pretty darn good, but again, I had them at 100%, which is pretty crazy, and it didn't feel, it didn't sound very loud. Like, the gunshots and explosions weren't very jarring or anything like that. I wish they would get a little bit louder, and I wish they had just a little bit more low end. But as far as comfort's concerned, all my worries about the headband or whatever, even though it feels kind of hard and not great, they actually feel pretty good. So I could tell by the ear cups how soft they were that you wouldn't get any fatigue or anything like that. There was no pressure on the temples or the forehead. Definitely not on the ears. It feels very comfortable, so I can definitely imagine wearing these for long gaming sessions and whatnot. Again, the sound quality is really good. Good situational awareness. I could clearly hear when people were walking above me, to the left of me. It was great. They sound really good, especially for the price. I just kind of wish that you could plug in the 3.5mm headphone jack on either side, and that they got a little bit louder and had a touch more bass. Other than that, and the head strap feels a little cheap to the fingers, but when you put it on your head, you didn't notice them at all. I didn't even think about the head strap a single time, so that's good. Overall, I gotta say, pretty good value for $43. I mean, I'm trying to think of what else is in that price range. That would be like the Turtle Beach Recons, I think, are about $35. And these aren't really a gaming headset. These are more of audio monitors, so they don't have like a built-in microphone or anything like that. But again, if you're streaming or anything like that, you're probably going to have a boom arm with a condenser mic on it like that. But yeah, I gotta say, pretty dang good for the price, guys. And they feel super solid too. I feel like these are going to last. So overall, I would recommend them. I'd give them a 7 out of 10. If they had louder volume, a little bit more kick in the low end, and you could plug the 3.5mm jack into either side, and they were the same price, this would be a 10 out of 10, hands down. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Peace.